I
Hello,
hope.
Bunina. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I hope someday you decide to be one of the speakers.
I need to be confident first.
Okay, I saw also Pak Babang Sumintono, Prof. Muhammad Supandi from UIN Bandung, and I will mention Murni and else Diva. Mashur, I'm sorry I didn't say hello when I passed your bicycle yesterday, and Asep, Supriyono, okay, siapa lagi? Poppy is here. I think we better start.
So we're going to start right now, Prof. Nina.
Yes, it's up to you. We will wait for 5 minutes first, or we will start on time. It's up to you.
Maybe we can just like until 2:05, maybe.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can do that. 5 minutes for people to come in.
Yeah.
Pak Bambang, are you in the dorm?
The office.
Yeah.
In the dorm? Okay.
Customize myself.
Are you in the same floor with the other students, or you are in different level?
I think level 3 with the other lectures room here.
Oh, okay, that's good.
But only me here.
Okay.
Did you visit campus this morning, Pak Bambang?
Yes, he came to my office also.
Oh, okay. So you maintain walking?
Yeah,
yeah.
Get the bike
Sure.
here today. Have you
So
got the bike? Okay.
Just walking from dormitory to here, so it's similar speed like you, around 15 minutes.
Yeah, right. It's 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, I think it's quite comfortable as long as it's not really hot.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the heat is unbearable sometimes. But today it's raining. This afternoon it's raining.
Yeah. I think every afternoon it's always rain.
Yes.
Around 3.
Yep. Hello, Pak Lukman.
Hello, Prof. How are you, Prof?
Good. I think the schedule in the mosque has been canceled. I don't hear anything, so you are free.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't received anything from the mosque.
Yes, okay, you are free then.
So, Pak Lukman's schedule is supposed to be today?
No, I don't know. We don't know.
Oh,
we
okay.
haven't.
Oh, I see some of my old friends, so I'm happy they're coming.
Good.
Ada Bu Rina, Octavia. Halo, Rina. I just call you Bu Rina here.
Halo Mbak Des, sehat Mbak Des.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for coming.
Miss you.
Miss you too.
And we have Pak Sirojudin Arif also from another faculty, far away from Faculty of Education, far away.
Hello, Pak Sirojudin. I heard from Cynthia about you. So I just not meet you in person just yet.
Nice to see you, Bu Destina.
Nice to see you. Thank
you,
you.
Bu Nina.
Thank you for coming. And one day, hope we can join the Faculty of Social Science event also. But unfortunately, like in the earlier events, it is coincident with our activities also. But it is good newsletters that we can catch up with all the recordings. I think that's excellent. Yeah, I think it's better to start, Bu Cherry.
Yes.
Right, I'm gonna start right now. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, it's sometimes
Is it
disconnected.
clearly?
Maybe it's my yeah. Sometimes it's good,
Maybe-
sometimes not.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be nothing happened. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable Dean of Faculty of Education, Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD. Honorable Head of Study Program, Ibu Tati Wadi, PhD. Dear lecturers of Triple IU, dear beloved students, and dear all the participants of our lunch talk today. I'm thoroughly pleased and proud to welcome you to the lunch talk. As we know that the lunch talk session is held monthly with the aim is to share the lecture research in order to support university Triple IU vision to be a research university, which will be a hallmark of a valuable concern for human welfare. Moving along to our session, I would like first to invite the Dean of Faculty of Education, Prof. Nina Nurmila, PhD, to give a welcoming remark. Prof. Nina, please.
Thank you, Ibu Dr. Charina, the moderator today. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammadin sayyidil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi syrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Thank you very much, Ibu Cherry, again for moderating our third lunch talk at the Faculty of Education. And for those of you who have attended the earlier event, we had the first speaker, Dr. Lukmanul Hakim, who spoke about a group decision. And then the second one is Dr. Charina Ayu Rizkianti, the moderator today, who have spoken about empathy. And today we have Dr. Destina Wahyu Winarti, math expert. Hope in less than 10 years, he will be a professor of math. And today she will speak about developing Indonesian student spatial ability to support mathematical learning. Well, when I was young, I like math. It is good rational exercise. Yeah. However, I didn't have much room to learn more about math because I didn't go to general school where math is taught properly. Yeah. I went to the pesantren where the curriculum was different, and about 80% of the subject I took was in Arabic. Yeah. And math is the subject many Indonesian students do not like. Yeah, and or feel incapable of doing it. And I start in my knowledge, learning math is like learning language. We know the rule, and then we need to apply the rule. So if we are not patient enough to understand the rule, then or the formula, then we cannot apply the formula into the application. Yeah, and because like just similar with English also, I know some of the students just do not like the subject. Yeah, they feel like pessimistic about being able to do math or to master English or Arabic. But back to math, no wonder if the Indonesian students do not perform well on mathematics international tests such as PICA, so I don't know, just PISA and TIMSS, yeah. And today, Ibu Destina will share with us on how to develop special ability to support mathematics, yeah. We hope her sharing knowledge about this can contribute to Indonesian better performance in the international tests, yeah. And that is all from me, and please enjoy the talk. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Nina. Before we start, I want to introduce Ibu Destina, that we usually call her as Ibu Desti. I'm going to read the CV of Ibu Desti, which is I highlighted about the most interesting thing. So Ibu Destina, Ibu Dr. Destina Wahyu Winarti, We call her as Ibu Desti, my friend, my best friend, my colleague, completed her bachelor in mathematics from ITS, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya. And she got 2 master's degree, one from ITS and the other one from Universitas Negeri Surabaya and Utrecht University in Netherlands. And finally, she got doctorate degree in University of Canberra, both master and doctorate degree in the field study of mathematics. That's awesome. Before I'm going to read about her experiences, I think I'm going to highlight it one thing, yeah, Ibu Destina. Ibu Destina still a single. All right. Now, about her teaching experience, she has taught a bachelor degree students in 2011, were including mathematics, logic, and computer applications. And her latest research experience in 2019, she received funding from the University of Canberra, an Australia Award Scholarship, where she was as a team leader. Her research focused on developing Indonesian grade 8 students' spatial ability to support mathematics learning. And her research has been published in many journals, like in proceeding of the annual conference of the Mathematics Education Research Group of Australasia 2019, Journal Physics Conference Series in 2018, and a lot of the conference or seminar she has been attended as a reviewer and also as a speaker, like the first Southeast Asia Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics International Conference in Banda Aceh, Indonesia, 2020, the first annual International Conference on Mathematics in 2019, the 42nd annual conference. Okay, thank you so much. As you can see here, the curriculum, the experience of her publications and seminars, yeah, like what I have read before. And 2018, STEM Education Research Center Special Reasoning Conference in University of Canberra as a speaker. Okay. And still many more, of course. Yeah, for me personally, her achievement show her dedication that she is so keen on in the academic fields to share and conducting her research. Today, she's going to share about her research with the title Developing Indonesia's Students' Spatial Ability to Support Mathematics Learning. But I'm going to read the abstract first for the opening. The spatial ability is a strong predictor of success in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM, and especially critical for students' well-being into the future. Although the impact of spatial ability is a burgeoning field of research, almost all students focus on Western societies and high-income contexts, and mostly focus on adults or children. This study expands the area of inquiry into a non-Western and non-high-income country, Indonesia, and focuses on adolescent students. In countries such as Indonesia, mathematics success is highly influential in one's general well-being and career aspiration. However, Indonesian students do not perform well on mathematics international tests such as PISA and TIMSS. So this study aimed to design a learning sequence and conducted intervention program with a specific purpose of developing students' spatial ability in order to support them in learning mathematics concept, especially understanding associated with geometric thinking. The finding of this study show the efficacy of the spatial mathematics intervention on students' mathematics, performance, and spatial visualization ability. Ibu Destina, talking about this spatial ability, I learned in psychology that this kind of ability is one of, we call it as a multiple intelligence. So today I'm looking forward to hear more about these things because you connect this kind of ability with mathematics learning context. As Professor Nina said that our students do not like perform well in the mathematics matters. But as we realize that we cannot separate our life in daily life, particularly with the mathematics matters, like, yeah, we have to doing budgeting, and then when we are exercising, driving, figuring distance, it needs a lot of mathematics skill. So without further ado, Ibu Destina, please share your presentation to us, your research. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Cherry. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I clear enough, my voice?
Yes,
Yes.
clear.
Okay,
Very
it's
clear.
important. First of all, thank you very much, Bu Nina, for giving the opening speech, and all my fellow colleagues in Faculty of Education particularly, and at the IIU for all and all my students. And also thank you, Bu Cherry, for giving the introduction about me. That's pretty long and quite detailed. So embarrassing, but yeah, anyway, it's very, very excited for about to share with you all my research. Actually, it's if I can say this, not really new research. I conduct this research like a couple of years back, starting in 2018, when I pursued my PhD program. I believe that there are lots of studies also that talking about special ability and mathematics, but I think it's still quite relevant, talking about special ability, particularly in Indonesia context, where let's say in curriculum itself, we not really has explicit discussing about special ability. And I'm going to talk here is how much it's actually related, special ability and mathematics, and how we can help our students through developing their special ability. And it's really a great time also that I meet some psychologists here, because we discuss a lot about special ability among us, that actually education people and psychologists has a different point of view, but not necessarily to be very opposite. But psychologists usually believe this is as a gifted skills or the gifted, let's say, ability. But education people always believe that it can be trained, it's malleable. So that's why we really work on this and try to work some ways that special ability can support mathematics. Okay, without further ado, I'll share my screen first. Give me a second. Is it coming? Okay, clear.
Yeah, perfect.
So I take the title as Developing Indonesian Students' Special Ability to Support Mathematics Learning. Is quite similar with my PhD thesis, but actually our discussion today is just taking a small part of what the whole series of the research result. And I'm just taking the part that is really good to share with all of you, knowing what is special ability and how this is connected with mathematics, and how we can put this together to help our students. A brief outline first to make it clear in the first place. I'm going to talk a little bit about the research background, and then what is my study about. Then I'm going to elaborate the research process. So I'm going to tell you the story a little bit about how I conduct the research and what is the component inside there, and then giving the results, and we can have a discussion afterward. I hope I can speak less than 30 minutes so we can have like lots of time for discussion, but yeah, let me try to put it as 30 minutes. Let's start with why am I doing this research? That's normally like the basic question for everyone. Like everyone in the class, I already said to them also, like when you want to do something, like you need to ask the question why it is important and why you want to do this. And the first thing is, there are a number of research saying that special ability is the best predictor for STEM field. So I emphasize here in math because I'm not going to discuss the whole things because I only work in the mathematics field, but actually special ability is the best predictor for those who want to go to the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And these facts then finally bring people who are like maybe not really into the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, then the question coming like, are they not really have a good special ability? So those questions arose, and then it's also come back to Indonesian context where we know exactly, as what Nina also mentioned earlier, that our students' performance in mathematics are not really make us happy in terms of international context. Yeah, there are some debates here as well that PISA and TIMSS might be not the only appropriate parameter to check the performance, but when we want to see our student compared to the other student, this is the test that we can use because our countries also participate in PISA and TIMSS. And if you see here, really far behind from many countries, the latest in 2018 and 2019 for PISA, we are in number 72 for total participants, 78. So we are always in the big five, but at the last. So it's become a concern for especially maybe educators, mathematicians, or anyone who are working in the education field. The good news is that actually special ability, number of research also say that it is malleable. There's a connection between special ability and STEM field, if particularly math. It says that if you perform well in special ability, those who can work well in special ability will have a good performance in mathematics as well. So there is some positive correlation here between special ability and math. And special ability itself, it's malleable. So this is the background that there is a space for us to do something about this. If we train our student, we hope we can help them improve their mathematics because there are already many ways to help mathematics, like revise the curriculum, etc., etc. But we try this one, how it's going to help our student. So there are a number of research. If I'm saying malleable, it's because it is in the research says that special ability can be improved through special training. So when we give a training, normally this is started with psychologists. They give like solely a training to the special skills, activities, then it can improve their special ability. And then I'm trying to search like numbers of research talking about special training. And it's really interesting because 95% of the training or the research about this one is conducted in Western countries, and Western countries, especially in high income countries. Whereas if you try to compare like the total like civilian around the world, maybe we can say that Western countries might be just a small portion. There are a number of countries that are non-Western, low income, but there's no research about this in that area. So it's really a big question what's going on there. And also if we try to check what are the focus of the study, if talking about special training, mostly it's conducted for 56% for adult, mainly like usually they are in a first year of university, and lots of them also for younger one, but not like the one in the middle is not many. So this is what we are trying to figure out. So maybe the question is, how about like in a developing non-high income countries, and is there any study about it in adolescents? And there are not many studies for that, and this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so when I'm keep on talking about special ability, what is this actually? Maybe many of you still put a question. Apologize for my spelling. I might usually, when I say it, people misunderstood as spatial. It's spatial. I don't know, maybe others who are good in English can help me. So the writing is with T. So this is the ability to manipulate, transfer, generalize visual image or an image in the mind. So simply I can say, you can imagine any 2-dimension or 3-dimension in your mind. When you're able to manipulate them, transform them, or generalize them just using your brain. Or we can say normally mind's eye. So you might heard more than just these 3: spatial orientation, mental rotation, or spatial visualization. But I'm focusing into these 3 because this is the most common spatial ability that is related with the school curriculum. Now let's start to break down one by one. What are they? If we are talking about spatial orientation, it's talking about your ability to stay unconfused when you change your direction. So imagine that you're at campus of IIU and you're thinking you want to go to a train station, Pondok Cina, and you keep on thinking like, okay, what is the shortest path I can take so I won't get, or you think like, oh, is there any ways that I won't get traffic? Or maybe you think of you are in a 3rd floor and you try to correlate your position with the mosque outside. So if the mosque in that area, if I'm inside the building, where the direction I should go. So this kind of ability is one of the special ability in the part of spatial orientation. The second thing is mental rotation. If there's a rotation, so I believe you already think of rotating something. Yes, that's true. So if you are able to imagine or rotating something just with your mind eye without even touching the objects. So let's say I'm asking you to rotate your water bottle in front of you 90 degrees clockwise. How is it going to look like? Then you can imagine, oh, it's going to be like this or like that. So that's those ability. It's mental rotation. And then the third one is spatial visualization, the one that is most commonly found actually. And normally those who are working with spatial ability think that other than spatial orientation and mental rotation, we consider them as spatial visualization. But me, myself, I'm not really using this very complex word, involve multiple and complex manipulation. Yes, it is multiple and complex, but this is the only one that make your object change. So let's say you're doing rotation or you're using spatial orientation, the object that you imagine is still exactly the same, but they just move places or move position. But if you're talking about spatial visualization, you're talking about changing the shape. You might cut it, you might fold it, you might like put them together. So let's say you want to put all the small block into the big one, so it's fit, or something that changes the object. Like you try to imagine, if I want to cut the corner of the cube, what's going to be happening? So things like that. So these are the ability that include in spatial ability. And again, correlate back or connected back with spatial ability and mathematics. So there is a positive correlation between spatial ability and mathematics from number of research. So that's the basis that I'm using to do this research. And those who perform better in spatial tasks also tend to perform better in mathematical ability. So think that if we can improve their spatial ability, there's highly likely they also perform better in their mathematics. And another thing that also become my concern that actually in some education agencies, they start putting attention on this. There are not a lot. I found some curriculum, let's say in Australian curriculum, they really mention spatial ability within their mathematics curriculum explicitly. So they start thinking how to integrate this spatial thinking within school curriculum. And this is what I try to put in our Indonesian curriculum, that we actually not acknowledge this at all in our Indonesian curriculum, and it might be that's why it's not like introduced, even though actually when I come to the field and meet the teacher, at the end of the day they're going to say, oh, actually I'm doing that. I think I already practice it, but they just don't realize it. All right, so coming to that's the picturing, the background of what is spatial ability and how it is related with mathematics. And then what am I going to do with this? So I did a study. So I tried to examine the act of 5-week special mathematics intervention. So I do some kind of a treatment to a number of students in a number of schools, supporting by the teachers, the mathematics teachers in that school. So I want to see if I give them a treatment, I'm trying to combine or embed special activities into mathematics classroom, then how will the performance of the student and how their special ability going to change? So this research particularly conducted in West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. Might be able to elaborate further, but before that, I'll try to give the definition because it might be somewhat a little bit different with special ability alone. So talking about spatializing mathematics. So we want to make mathematics into special. So actually this idea coming from Newcomb in her paper in 2017, she framed specializing the curriculum. So she's actually not particularly talking about mathematics, but curriculum in general, particularly in science fields. So this is specializing the curriculum is some kind of, so you have a strategy. This is include the teaching techniques and then also curriculum design. So you have the techniques and you design the curriculum, then makes the strategic use of tools. So you will going to use the tool for special thinking. So that's why it helped to develop the special skill while you're also improving their mathematics or whatever it's like in a certain topics. So in my study, specializing the mathematics curriculum, I describe it as utilizing and embedding special activities into the mathematics curriculum. So I'm trying to, I can say I manipulate one particular part of mathematics, particularly in geometry subject in grade 8. Okay, to give you a better or clear picturing. So if you remember when we are learning about surface area in like grade 8, this is what normally we found in Indonesian curriculum. So they are given the net of the prism. And then they give a context, oh, this is like a biscuit box. And then you try to open it and give the ideas that when you open it, it look like this. And then how you do the calculation, they're giving you the formula. So instead of doing it that way, we are designing something different. So in the right side is how I try to specialize or putting special activities into this activity on the left side. So I started with using a cube and ask the student to think before they cut it like this. If you want to open the cube, how many possibilities of net that you can form? So student will not directly given like on the left side, you have like a cross T1, but there are different possibilities because actually if you try to cut it, there are 11 combinations that you can find for finding the nets of the cube. So that's what we try to expose here. We're not trying to give directly one thing, but we try to let the student think. If you pay attention here, this student, they are not given anything. This is just the teacher in the front showing it. These activities actually come later, but the first activity student has to imagine. So they just need to draw on a paper. If you have a cube and you need to draw the net. So how many possibilities you can make? So they are start trying like, oh, if I open it like this, so they are using their gesture or they are trying to make a scratch. And so they really activate their mind eyes. They start thinking what are the combination I can make. And the second step, they try to put it back together. Is it correct? Or actually it doesn't work, things like that. So we give some time for them to explore. And then this is the main part of specializing activities. So we let the student to activate their thought, their mind eyes to do this activity before they really just come up with the hands-on activity. At the end, they're going to come forward to the board and then they find so many different combinations that is just really beautiful because normally we just give like one T and then T forms and then, you know, the length, the breadth, and then try to calculate. So this is what we try to do. This is one of the example. And then we give the advanced one. Okay, now let's go to the concept of a dice. So if everyone know that dice always the formula, the dot in the opposite side is always total 7. If I'm talking about this six side of dice, yeah, because there are different type of dice. So maybe we can, the activity that we can give to student, okay, if one side I give 3 dots, so where do you locate the 4 dots? So they start thinking, okay, if I open it, so where is the position? So it will be exactly as like opposite each other. So this is need time to things, and we activate that. We let the student to be explicit using their thought a lot. So that's what we try to train them rather than drill and practice. Another example that also we give is the concept of surface area and volume. Rather than just giving the formula, we try to put it together. The idea is that different volume can have the same surface area. You agree? Or you think? You need to think. So different surface area might have the same volume. That's possible. So the idea here is if you can have different surface area but the same volume, or vice versa. So when I give you, let's say, 5 connected cube block like this, how many combination of prism you can form? If you want to make the same surface area but different volume, 1. Second, the same volume, the same surface area but different volume, and vice versa. So in this instance, we are not giving any tools to students. We let them to think. They start trying to combine with their mind eye. Okay, if I have 4 cube blocks, how many combination I can make? So in this activity, actually, there are 2 things. First, they need to make sure that the combination is a prism, because the task is prism. Because some combination they make, it might be not a prism. So that's the mathematical concept that they need to hold. Okay, this is prism, correct. Now, second thing they need to consider, oh, is it the same surface area? Okay, these 2 the same. Is it different volume? Or vice versa. So they need to find so many combinations, as many as possible. And we normally work in a group. So then when they come up to the discussion, it's really a fruitful discussion, because different group might have a different combination, and they really open their eyes that there's lots of possibilities in math, and all of them might be correct, because the combination is not just one, it's more than one. As I show it here, when you want to make a prism, you can have even 4 different combinations. Then at the end, after they have all of these activities, they're drawing it on this isometric papers, and then they find the result of surface area. Then we ask them to really hold the tools, which is connected cube blocks. Okay, now check, are you doing the right things? Or are you actually doing the wrong things? So this a sequence of activities that we let the student to really use their thinking before they come up into the hands-on activity. So this time, the gap that we give them to use their thought and lots of possibilities, it's trained them to activate their spatial thinking. So this is one of the ways that train them to improve their spatial ability, and as well as in connection with their mathematics, because they do everything in more explicit way. Then it helped them to finally work with better in mathematics. I'm not included in this research, in this presentation, but actually, if a long run, there's a power transfer that actually this habit let the student not directly come to the drill and practice, it train their logic. It trains their ability to understand the question, understand the problem, try to visualize it, try to think the solution, and then write it down, rather than you just, in the first instant, think, what is the formula that is good with this? But it more to really go one by one, each step, try to understand, try to visualize, and try to do the work. That's actually the habit that we're going to put to our students. Okay, that's the example of how I reframe the curriculum, the activities in mathematics, like in the textbook base, into some kind of activities that embed special thinking or special activities within it. So about this study, so again, if I try to summarize, my study is going to focus my study was focusing on adolescents, especially grade 8. So this is in non-Western, definitely, because I conducted in West Nusa Tenggara. And the area that I choose is disadvantaged area. I really tried to come into the area that is less advantaged, because I really want to see how this program, how this intervention can really help them, rather than we come to the very well equipped schools that people might think like, oh, no wonder it works, because they have a good ability or because they are already well established. So that's the reason. And then this intervention is the integration of special activities in the geometry topic. So I particularly do for surface area and volume of a three-dimension figures. I call it specializing mathematics curriculum. And then we investigate whether the program can improve student mathematics performance and their special ability. There is a pre-post-test activities before the experiment. So we call this pre-test, post-test experimental study. So I'm start coming into the process or the activities of the research itself. So initially we have around 188. Oh, we have more than this number that I show you here. We have around 700, but many of them are finally can't participate because it's quite challenging there. Lots of things. When you go to the field, you find it like it's not really ideal. You can get everyone. And some people joining the pre-test, some people not joining the post-test. So at the end of the day, we got this 400 something participant from 10 schools. So 6 of them is experimental school and we have 4 control schools. So the one in experiment is the one who get the intervention, and control school, we are not doing anything. We just let them doing like a normal mathematics class, like business as usual. So maybe everyone aware that West Nusa Tenggara might be has quite not the lowest, but it's include a low human development index. So regarding the health, incomes, and education, and we have some school in Mataram city itself. It is quite established, but we also have some in a different district, like in West Lombok or even in East Lombok. So we have like quite varied object or participant in this research. And I believe it might be hard for you to read everything, but that's why I put color to make you have a picturing that actually these 3 colors represent mental rotation, special orientation, special visualization that I already explained in the first place. So this is a 10 I can say topics or breakdown of this the curriculums of all the session of geometry topic. So we have 10 meetings with the student, and color represent what type of special ability that we try to embed on that activities in a class. If you try to see, most of the activity are dominated by special visualization, because in this case I can't force that, okay, it has to be equal mental rotation, equal special orientation, or equal special visualization. The first thing we do is we see the curriculum first, and we check what is the special ability that is matched to that lesson. So that's why, because we are following the curriculum of mathematics, so these are the combination that match. We just have a quite less mental rotation. So in another word, I can say they are not really have lots of activities in mental rotation and special orientation. Most of them are related with special visualization, the one that complex visualizing, and maybe something that changes the object itself, whether they cut it, they fold it, or those or put everything together or put them into pieces. So this activities itself is was conducted in February 2018, May 2018. So it's quite a few years back, but it's quite nice to look back. And I just imagine I was in that class and doing all these activities. So I start with training teacher workshop, I call it. We give a workshop to the teacher for the experimental group only, because we don't want the control group to get the ideas about what is this. We want to keep it pure. So we just train the 6 teachers who are in experiment group. but we also give all the material to the control group after the end of the program. So we start the training, we give everything to the teacher, we explain them what is special abilities, special activities, how to do it. It's quite challenging because I just have 4 days and all teachers are really new about special ability. But believe me, at the end of the day, they say like, I think I did this quite some time, I just didn't realize and not go through this deeply. So we are happy that actually they realize that they are doing some special activities within their class itself. Then after that, we have pre-tests, we have mathematics tests, and also special reasoning tests. So these 2 tests happen for pre and after the intervention. So we have the intervention for 3 months. If you see, there are some collation of pictures, the activities in the class, how the student really enjoy the activities, like that normally in maths is not really like that. They are really engaging. It's a really good part. And the best thing is it's become really explicit for students to understand what's going on in the class rather than just take notes, memorizing, and just do the activities for practicing, exercising all the question. It's more engaging into the activities to know what it is about. And then at the end, we have a post-test. So we later on going to see what happened between pre-test and post-test, as you can guess. So for data analysis, we have these 2 questions. Does a special mathematics intervention improve student mathematics performance, and also whether it's improved student special ability? I'm not really discussing into the detail of the statistical analysis. We can talk about this because it's too long. So let's come into the result. The effect, if we can see in this picture, we have a significant difference, the result, with the effect size as around 0.3, not too high, but there are significant difference between the pre and post-test and between the experimental and control group. And then special mathematics intervention on special visualization ability. Maybe some of you might question at the end, why special visualization? So the result here is also a significant difference. You can see there is a difference between experimental and control group, even though with the quite not very high effect size. So these are the main result of those 2 questions. We can see here that indeed the intervention improves student mathematics performance, and then also their special visualization ability based on the tests that we give to them in a pre and post. So what are the lessons that I can learn from this? Like all of you can see from the result that special mathematics intervention indeed affects student mathematics performance. Looking at how the result in a graph seen, and then the magnitude of significant and effect size are not huge. This is a note, but again, we try to look at the background context of the study and the improvement of experiment group after the intervention. It gives it is a hope that infusing special activities within mathematics curriculum could help mathematics learning and somewhat develop special abilities, particularly maybe in a disadvantaged area in developing countries. Because there are some studies as well, also in a disadvantaged area. There are 2 studies that also resulting, there is an improvement, but the context is not in a developing countries, but it's in the US or Canada. They have a quite significant result. The effect size is pretty high. So again, we can't compare head to head because the context of developing countries or disadvantaged area might be different with the disadvantaged area in Canada or in US. So that's become one of the notes. But the things that I emphasize here is there is a hope for us to be able to try to change our mathematics learning. So how to create a better chance for students to improve their special ability, because this is related also in a STEM field and helping them to understand better in a mathematics subject. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm open for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bu Destina. That was so interesting. As you say that learning about the spatial ability is going to predict the mathematics ability and visualization, spatial visualization. I think it is time to invite the audience participation. Please, you may raise your hand and please identify yourself. Name, faculty.
We have Pak Bambang.
Yes, Pak Bambang. Please.
Okay. Terima kasih. Okay, thank you very much, Bu Destina, for the nice presentation here. Okay, Bu Cherry for letting me to ask question. Right, so I just simple thing want to suggest you, right? So when I see the kind of analysis that you use, so there's one other potential analysis that you can apply to your data, okay? Because what I can see here, you just only emphasize on what we usually call as group center statistic. We are looking to the group performance. At the same time, with the same data, actually, we can do much what we call is deeper analysis. Usually we call it as individual center statistic. So we can try to analyze at the individual level person and individual item. So you can get much deeper analysis to see about the changing, to see about the differences even between a group of students. If you still have the data, for example, male and female, you can compare between rural area and urban area, or even between public school and private school. That kind of analysis will be very what we call is a breakthrough in your area, because most likely not so many researchers are interested to apply individual sample statistic, right? So maybe we can work together about that one. Okay, so just give me the data and then I will show you how to do the analysis, right? So that's the only suggestion. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Pak Bambang. Yes, definitely we can work together. For your information, I already shared all my data to all these 20 students in IIIU Faculty of Education. So we have one class introduction to SPSS, and I want them to just like do whatever they want with my data. So yeah, actually, if what I present today is just like the beginning of the analysis. So we do lots of work on the statistical analysis. We see on the gender factors, and then we also looking at each of the composition of the test. So we have mathematics in one group, but actually within mathematics we have geometry, we have algebra, we have numeric, and then we have statistic itself. So we want to see actually those type of mathematics, which one that is actually very strong to correlate with these activities. And it's the same as in a spatial ability, we also see it in a different areas, like how about mental rotation, how about spatial visualization and spatial orientation. That's why if you check at the end, my data result is actually only in spatial visualization, because the real result of this study, when you talk about spatial ability, actually it's just not really improving. But that's quite makes sense, because we are mostly working in spatial visualization and we are not solely trained their spatial ability. We embed this activity into mathematics. So it's quite makes sense that mathematics improve, but not the spatial. But it's really, really open for further research, Pak Bambang. I'm really looking for that, and we can just work together with this. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, one of the limitation of group center statistic, they cannot reveal something about slightly change, right? And especially we have a problem because of the scoring is not the real interval data as we understand. Okay, so I mean, another approach most likely can result into another important finding for your study, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Bambang. So we're waiting for students. Students, please. Is there any one of you wants to give a question or share your experience maybe?
May I ask a question,
Yes,
Cherry?
yes, please.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hello, Bu Destina. Assalamualaikum. It was a very interesting presentation.
Thank you, Diva.
Yeah, so actually, while you were presenting, I was curious about a special ability, and I tried to search it on Google Scholar and research, and there is actually positive correlation between special ability and critical thinking. So I thought, how do you think that we can develop this special ability not only to students who learn math, for example, like students of IPA, natural science, but for students like us as well in social science, because we rarely encounter discussion about this special ability. Maybe this will help us to also improve our critical thinking. Maybe this can be an interesting discussion. Thank you very much, Iwo.
Thank you, Diva. What a very interesting topics to discuss. Yes, actually, talking about spatial ability. Correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. So it's really interesting. It's not only in mathematics. It is true because you have a skill that you try to develop, or you try to nurture. Like you keep on doing some activities. Maybe it's actually not just limited what I mentioned earlier. That really activate your thought, your brain, your logic. So what I really not experienced in other fields, because so far I just work in mathematics, definitely. But the logic or the ideas myself, if you think logically, it might be work for other fields as well. Because when you're talking about specializing something or thinking special, you are doing really put your brain and then mind eyes to manipulate something. Something is not necessarily 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. It might be a language. It might be a case. It might be something else. So in that instance, you try to put it in your mind. You try to digest it first. What is this things about? And you try to work on that. You manipulate the ideas, or you try to generalize it, and then at the end you're going to decide what to do. So there are the sequence or the step that is I can say that was trained here through special skill activities that can activate your logic, especially for mathematics case. And what I found, like I'm not mentioning it here in my presentation here, but actually in my PhD studies, I also mentioned that this give a far transfer. It means even though it's not trained explicitly, but it helps you to be very explicit in taking care of a case. So it helps you to solve many other problems. So even though it's not in geometry, the result of my study, even though you're working in statistics, even though you're working in numerical, in an algebra, you will still using your ideas when you, within 3 months, these students are developing themselves, train themselves how to use spatial thinking, how to always make things explicit, like visualize it first and try to put it down what to do, and they do the checking. So they have the visualization, they make the prediction what's going to happen, and they're going to check. And it can be work for anything. So that's happened for what Diva's thinking too. If you try to put it in some other cases, and student, I'll try to put it that way, you visualize the thing and you try to predict what's going on with this logic, and then you do the work. the work means you try to check. Okay, it might be right, might be not right, and you can repeat again with the cycle. So yeah, that's really possible.
Okay, Diva.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ibu.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, another students. Bu Destina, I would like to ask you about this, about your research. You said that this is the beginning, right? The beginning of your research. So I would like to know what kind of suggestion or recommendation that you give to further researcher if they want to continue your research.
Okay, so very good question. I might need to maybe open my contekan. What I mean at the beginning, actually, the one that I described right now, actually the report is not all of them, because this study is actually quantitative and qualitative both. So I do mixed method. After I know it's give impact to the students, then I curious how actually teacher conduct the class. So we do a very deep, I do a case study and checking. So I follow videos of selected teachers and see their day-to-day activities on orchestrating the class and how they conducted. So from this study, we might come up to lots of ideas again, that actually what this study actually only give intervention to the experimental group, right? But actually I'm not doing anything with the control group, and we're not doing any observation to the control group. So in a quantitative ways, it's really acceptable. We have all the data and presented, but once I come to the qualitative, and I'm trying to really compare, I don't have enough data to see what's going on in a control class. So we got the result from the quantitative that there are quite a difference, but we actually not sure how the class is running. We only believe that they conduct the class based on business as usual. They are using the textbook given by the government. They follow all of that, but we are not sure. So that's actually I mentioned also in my findings, and also give the ideas for the next research. Other things is really interesting is actually like what Pak Bambang mentioned about different district. Let's say there's 10 school, they are spread, and sometimes not sometimes, sorry. Some school are actually in a city and some other in a district. So we might be able to see actually how is the performance of their school. Is there any impact of this, like with a well-equipped school, and whether the teachers have a better performance? And also the other things that we can see further is like, maybe we want to try to check in a teacher itself. So there are lots of opportunities to do. Maybe we develop a PD for teachers in a field of special ability, because I really find it challenging when we try to introduce special ability to the teacher. So actually there are other factors that maybe what's going on in a class is not very maximum, because the teacher is also new in terms of special ability. So it's really a big wide space here that we might be able to do something with the teachers so that it can be in line if they want to also train the student with, or try to embed special activities into the curriculum.
Okay, thank you, Bu Destina. So students or lecturers? Pak Lukman? Let's point Pak Lukman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bu Cherry, Bu Destina. Thank you for the presentation. It is very interesting. And I just noticed that the three of us, the first three presenter, we present our method was the same, was experiment.
Yes.
So I was hoping that for the next LunchTalk, maybe there will be a qualitative method for the presenter, maybe, yeah. And what I also find quite interesting is, Destina, it's not asking, it's just sharing my experience. When I used to conduct also research using experiment, with almost the same method like you, but it was for a language. So actually I was observing two methods for memory in memorizing words. So it was I was comparing between if the word that I want the students to remember is memorized, I mean subject generated or the experimenter provided. So for example, if I want them to memorize one particular word in Dutch word, for example, is mooi meisje. Mooi meisje is a Dutch word, and then I want them to remember that, and then I give them the picture of mooi meisje. Mooi is beautiful, meisje is a girl. So if I provide them the picture in their mind about mooi meisje, and I was comparing if they make the picture themselves, which one is more, which one they will remember longer. And it was almost the same. I mean, we activate their mind in picturing, but it was more like visualization, not spatial. It's visualization. And I think this topic is very interesting, mostly because our students are from English literature, and it can be a choice for their research, maybe for their thesis. So students, you have many options for your thesis later on. So we have coincidentally 3 teachers who are conducted experiment. And maybe Mr. Bambang also will have lunch talk maybe in the next month, maybe, I don't know. And I don't know which topic, and I hope it will be more varied, yeah. Okay, that's all from me. Bu Cherry, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Lukman. Bu Desti want to respond what Pak
Yeah.
Lukman has said?
Yeah, then it's really interesting. Maybe it can be the ideas for our students as well, like what Diva also mentioned. My research is just really limited in a geometry field, but talking about the special ability itself, there are big opportunities that we will be able to dig what we can do with that abilities, and we are not exploring that much. I think most of you knows that in a test, what is that test competency? What do you call that, Bu Cherina? TPA. Yeah, some question in TPA. Maybe that's interesting also, that actually everyone going through that test, and it might be if you're not really past that test, might not have a good special ability. That's possible also, and it's nothing to lose to learn special for everyone. I mean, it's not necessarily only math. I'm afraid that people will think, okay, this is for science people. It's definitely not. Special skills is one of the, as what Bu Charina mentioned, it's one of the ability that every human being should have.
Okay, thank you, Bu Destina. I'm going to, I think one more student, I think. Is it Yoyon? Is it Yoyon? Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Yoyon. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I'm so happy hearing Ibu Destina's presentation, because I might say that I'm not a math person, because when I was in school, especially in secondary and high school, I was like more into, my major back then was social. So yeah, even though it's still related to mathematics, but it's not that deep. And then after I graduated from high school, I continued to English literature, which is nothing about math in my department at the time. So I was thinking like, but hearing Ibu Destina's presentation, I was wondering if, is it like maybe because I wasn't really activate my mathematics skill or special skill at the moment. And then I'm wondering like, how to kind of like improve special ability of a person, Ibu, because I was thinking like, maybe I want to challenge myself to take a test on special ability and to know whether or not it's related to my mathematics skill. Because when I had like, what is that, job interview, for example, and there was like a special ability test, if I remember, like I took like several tests before, and it was like there's something like about special. For example, like if there is a box, and if we rotate the box into this direction, and how it will look like. And I was thinking like that what one of the tests that I took, but I never really know the result because it's confidential of the company. And I was thinking like is there any way to that I can take the test and to know my level of special skills. Thank you, Ibu Destina.
Thank you. The easiest way actually, Oyon, you can use my items and I can test you. Yeah, but yeah, this is the easiest way. But yeah, it's actually available online. At the first stage, I also go through online resources to check the available special tests. There are lots of them because normally, like long time back, before all educators are really think it is crucial to include special into subject, let's say mathematics or science or others. Psychologists really work on this special ability like years, like tens, like long time ago. They really have lots of different instruments testing the special ability. Many of them focusing in mental rotation, many of them focusing in a special visualization. You can search like there are many names at the past. I'm not really remember, like maybe Metzler or I can't mention top of my head, but yes, there are a number of psychologists that really focusing on doing the test to check how their performance. Normally, initially they use this, if I'm not mistaken, is for those who want to be a pilot. They also need to be able to do this because it's really important related to the direction. The other things is actually you can just do it in your daily activities. Let's say, how many of you that actually doing this? Like you're not really happy with your room position, that you think like, oh, I'm start getting bored with my room. I need to rearrange. But you might think that okay, if the bed I try to rotate it or I try to shift it to the right, it won't fit because I think it's too small, or I think I wouldn't put it turn left, right. So those activities actually one of the things that using special thinking. But many of people that doesn't like to do that, they're going to give it to someone like, okay, you think of it. I don't want to break my head to think about that. Second things, you might want to use Google Map, but opposite. So normally you are just with the direction, but if you put it the opposite, so if the direction going down is actually going up, so it's going to break your head. But if you are not sure you're going to be safe on the road, if you put it the opposite, just don't do that. But it's a good practice because you reorientate yourself. Because I experienced it myself. I don't know, something weird with my handphone. If I turn on the Google Map, the direction is opposite. If I go there, it's actually going here. So I quite used to it. So if you try to do that, it might be one of the way. So yeah, find it and go online and check if there is a test. The easiest way, we can start our next statistical analysis class with doing special skill tests with my instrument.
Thank you, Bu Desti. Diva is laughing. Are you planning to rearrange your room, Diva?
No, because Dia just did her room yesterday, Bu. That's why
really?
I'm laughing.
So interesting because Bu Destina, give the concrete examples of the spatial ability. Yeah, this spatial. I don't know how to mention the spatial ability. All right, I think there are still, one question maybe.
I think someone write it in the chat.
Oh really? I cannot see it.
Oh, sorry, it's a direct message.
Oh, direct message. So it's only you who can read that.
I hope you don't mind if I answer it in this because it's very. So it says that my close friend was Indonesian language teacher of SMP, where she got Indonesian degree, but the headmaster knows he was good but the headmaster knows he was good in math when student of SMA. So he assigned my friend as mathematics teacher too. In this case, how we correlate the special ability? Thanks for your explanation. Okay. So initially studied in language, then actually good in math, and then become a math teacher. Well, I might be not the right person to decide whether there is a correlation with the special ability. There are one of the factors looking at the, I'm talking based on the data or based on the research earlier conducted by the researcher earlier, that those who are good in special ability, there's opportunity or highly likely they are good in mathematics. So maybe your friends, it's actually really have also good ability in special, and then by nature, then he activate a lot of their special thinkings and then give impacts on their ability in mathematics. And don't get it wrong, that actually special ability might be also useful when you're thinking about language, because when you translate it, that you are talking like what Pak Lukman said earlier, you might be want to translate something into Dutch language or other things, you try to visualize it, even though it's not really 2D or 3D, but you are moving something in your mind, change it. If I'm saying lapar in bahasa Indonesia, maybe in Jawa it's minluwe, and maybe in English hungry, and maybe if you're talking Dutch, what is Pak Lukman? I don't know. Something else. Maybe in Korea
Honger.
you say hunger.
Yes.
Hunger. Maybe in Korea you say pegopa, or maybe you guys say something else. So it's like you shift things using your special skills. Hope it helps.
Yeah, I think a lot of beneficial when we are talking about this kind of special things, yeah, special ability, Bu Destina. All right, because I think that there are no more questions. Ibu Destina, you would share us or giving us the closing statement, please?
Yes, I would love to. Actually, presenting this one, I have, let's say, 3 things in mind. First is, of course, I want to share my research that maybe is going to be useful for those who may be new to special skills things. So, get the ideas, what is that? Second, I'm thinking that once you know that actually there is a correlation between special and mathematics, but after the long discussion as well, it's actually related with many other things, you might start thinking to utilize everyone's special skills that actually everyone has it. And so there are 2 things, yeah. So I want you to know the result of my research. So it's give an acknowledgement about the experiment that I conduct to help mathematics. Second, awareness about special skills, that you might be able to do lots of things related with this, and you might start searching what we can do with that. The third is I'm thinking that through this one, many of our students, not only our students, maybe everyone can get further ideas of what we can do in relation to further research that maybe come up in your ideas with this. And really, there are lots of things that still can be developed. As Pak Bambang said also, my research is quite limited, but it's quite a breakthrough, because in Indonesia context, this is quite the first experiment or the first treatment that we give to the students, that we really embed. This is special case because in Indonesia context, we are so hard to get teachers to spend their time, like special time. Let's say, can I take your time to have my class? It's so difficult for that because the class session itself is already packed. So this is the best way to do, is designing something within the subject itself. So we try to interfere the class by giving the activities that within the class itself. So this is one of the way that we can try to help, like it's a bottom-up activities. I mean, we are giving type treatments and we try to spread it through our writings, and who knows, like it can give a better idea next for maybe education institution or so. So I think that's it from me. I hope everyone can get some insight, not just particularly in special thinking or special skill in mathematics, but beyond that. Thank you, Bu Charina.
Thank you, Bu Destina. What Bu Destina has said is show how the novelty of the research being taken. Yeah, even though Bu Destina has said also there is some limitations of it, but the novelty of what her research conducted, it shows that this is, yes, like Bu Destina said, is kind of breakthrough. Yeah, and I'm gonna train my special ability afterwards, Bu Destina. Please wish me luck. Well then, once again, on behalf of Faculty of Education, thank you so much, Bu Destina, for delivering such an important materials. And so all of us here can deepen our knowledge about the research and especially about the topics, what you have shared to us. I sincerely hope that throughout your presentation, our discussion afterwards, all of us can contribute to solving the educational problems, yeah, particularly the educational problems in our countries. Thank you so much for all the audience, colleagues, for Ibu Nina as a dean, Ibu Tati as a head of department, and then head of program, study program, and then the students, the audience. Thank you so much for joining this today lunch talk. I'll see you later next month with different speaker. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.